Even though the Iowa State Cyclones and Memphis Tigers are the least known of the 8 teams in action on December 30th, the Autozone Liberty Bowl could very well be the best bowl game of the day. The Cyclones have to play what amounts to a true road game in Memphis, Tennessee, with this 12:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff time on ABC. But you can bet that Matt Campbell's team will be up for the challenge. Memphis is favored by 3.5 with a total in the upper 60s. Iowa State only went 7-5 this season, but context is very important in this case. The Cyclones haven't won 7 games since 2009, and they haven't made a bowl game since 2012. Among those 7 wins were victories over Oklahoma and TCU. The Cyclones were 10-2 against the spread, so bettors were ecstatic with their performance in 2017. Iowa State was 8-4 to the under. Iowa State was 4-2 straight up and 5-1 against the spread in road games, so playing at the Liberty Bowl should not be an issue for Matt Campbell's bunch. Campbell's Cyclones were just 3-9 last season, and here they are in a bowl game this year. If the Cyclones can grab a win here, it will be their first 8-win season since the program had 9 wins in 2000. This was a really solid football team. Jacob Park started the season, but Kyle Kemp finished it. Park was dismissed from the program for violating team rules. Kyle Kemp stepped in and completed 66.8% of his passes with a 13-3 touchdown interception ratio. With the premier running back in David Montgomery, who ran for over 1,000 yards, the Cyclones had a good amount of offensive balance. The numbers say that the Cyclones only ran for 3.7 yards per carry, but Montgomery had 234 of the 385 carries and had 4.7 yards per pop. Allen Lazard should see some playing time on Sunday at the next level after grabbing 61 balls for 799 yards in the regular season. Iowa State averaged 5.7 yards per play, which was down a couple of notches from last season, but still among the best seasons for the program since the turn of the century. The biggest leap for Iowa State came on defense. Campbell challenged longtime friend and defensive coordinator John Heacock to step up his unit, and it worked. The Cyclones only allowed 5.4 yards per play. Opponents completed 67.4% of their passes, but Iowa State really did an excellent job of limiting big plays. This is the first time that Iowa State has held its opponents to 5.5 yards per play or less since 2010. This defense is sure to be tested by Memphis, an offense that absolutely lit up the scoreboard this year, but the Cyclones are used to playing in the Big 12. The last bowl game the Cyclones played was this one against Tulsa, and it was a loss back in 2012. So these seniors have never played in a bowl game. You can bet that Iowa State will be highly motivated here to finish the year strong. The Memphis Tigers were 10-2 straight up and 7-5 against the spread. The Tigers rolled to 5 straight covers before losing to UCF in double overtime in the AAC championship game. That was a push for most bettors. Memphis was 9-3 to the over, which was not surprising. Mike Norvell has been a hot name on the coaching market, but he just signed an extension to stay in Memphis. The Tigers had 7.5 yards per play on his watch this season, which was a program record. The Memphis Tigers offense is really something special. On 2 separate occasions, the Tigers hung 70 points on an opponent and averaged 47.7 points per game for the season. They are led by senior quarterback Riley Ferguson, who posted a 36-9 touchdown interception ratio with a 63% completion rate. Star wideout Anthony Miller had 92 of those catches from Ferguson and 1,407 receiving yards. He had 17 touchdowns in the regular season. The Tigers had nearly 9 yards per pass attempt and 14.2 yards per reception. The running game was also stellar. Sophomore Darrell Henderson had 1,154 yards on just 130 carries, and fellow sophomore Patrick Taylor Jr. had 5.7 yards per carry on his 140 tries, and led the team with 13 touchdowns. Overall, the Tigers averaged 5.9 yards per carry. This offense was virtually unstoppable and ranked among the top offenses in the country. The only thing that can hold Memphis' offense back is its own defense. The defense did an excellent job of forcing turnovers by grabbing 30 takeaways, but that was about the only thing that they did well. Memphis allowed 5.9 yards per play and 33.4 points per game. The rush defense did improve after allowing 5 yards per carry last season, but the pass defense allowed a lot more big plays. The AAC was loaded with gifted offenses, and Memphis allowed a lot of yards and points to a very good UCF team, but defensive coordinator Chris Ball had to be disappointed with the lack of progress overall. Memphis does stay home for this bowl game, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. Part of the fun of the bowl season is going to a different place to play, but the Tigers also get to sleep in their own beds and have a home field advantage from the fan base. Memphis gets the chance to knock off a Power 5 team for the second time this season after beating UCLA early in the year. The Tigers have a ton of talent and a very balanced offense. Iowa State is probably the more balanced team overall and has the vastly superior defense. The Cyclones are fortunate in that they know what it's like to play against really good offenses, and they have had success against a lot of those teams this season. That could be the deciding factor in this game, so we'll go with the Iowa State Cyclones plus the 3.5 points. For our pick and prediction on this game and every other game this week, and a wealth of free stats and information, check out bangthebook.com.